drag and drop the data flow task and double click, and I'm going to select the data source. One is Excel data source and another one is OLEDB data source, and click onto it, and I'm selecting the columns. So these are the columns, and again I'm selecting the column table which has a dim department group. Now when you observe this, these two data types are changed. You can see the department group ID, unique code string, and again department group key, also unique code string. And if I come back here, you can see the data types, which is 4-byte signed integer and again 4-byte signed integer. So these two data types are mismatched. So what I want to do is I just want to develop a single package to export the data from two sources to the flat file destination. So I'm going to drag the flat file destination, and if I combine this, and the flat file will accept it because of the data type. It doesn't care about the data type in the flat file side. So before to do that, I'm going to use OLEDB destination. So if I connect to this, then definitely it should be throw an error because of the data type might be mismatched. So now you can see department key. Let me ignore that column because it is identity insert value, or let me select this. Okay, so now I can select this. So the package should be run, and let me run this package. Okay, the data is loaded because there is no issue at all with the data type. Okay, now we'll talk about a conditional split transformation. And so I'm going to create a new SSIS package. And so I have to drag and drop the data flow task. And then I can select one data source, which is we can select any data source here. So let's select OLEDB data source, and selecting the adventure works. And this time we can select a different table, which is maybe we can select a dim customer and click OK. So there are some additional columns and we may get error, but let's see. So this is basically dim customer source table. Now I'm going to select a destination, which is again I'm going to select OLEDB destination, and the data I'm going to load into extra guru DW lab and the dim customer and click OK. So I think this is identity insert column, and we cannot insert the values into this column. Let me script it out and make sure double verify this. So this column is identity insert, which means we cannot insert the explicit value here. So there are additional way to do it. You have to turn off and turn on this identity insert. So if you are not familiar, you can view into the T-SQL course. So I'm going to ignore that column because we should not enter the external value into the customer key. So click OK. Now this is the standard data flow task here, but exactly what I want to do is I want to define the condition, then based on that condition I want to split the data into the different outputs. So before I do and any other activities, I have to drag and drop the conditional split transformation. So the multicast transformation, which is exactly basically copy the data as it is, So there is no additional conditions and there is no additional logic. If you get 4 columns as input, you can shade those 4 columns into multiple outputs. And conditional split transformation, which is you have to define the condition, and you can define, okay, this is the condition I want to go into this destination, excuse me, and if I want to go into other destination based on the different condition. So you can define the conditional split transformation. So I am going to connect it here. As soon as I connected, and you can see it is asking the conditions here. So you can define any conditions. So these are nothing but just like an expression. So you can define any kind of expression here. You can do basically gender, or you can do anything. It is based on the same expressions as it is we defined in a T-SQL. So now before I do, I want to go back into this and I have to verify what exactly the data is available in this table. So selecting the dim customer, and let's choose any weight class condition, then we can split that based on that. So let's select a gender, and where gender is equal to male. So based on this, we are going to write two sources. Sorry, we are getting one input sources and we are generating two output sources. If it is male, then go into the SQL Server database table, and if it is gender is female, then go into the flat file destination. So I'm going to select this, and so basically what you can do, you can define the condition here. So I'm going to drag and drop the gender column. Okay, and if the gender, you have to define double is equal to, if it is gender male, okay, then you have to define the column name, what is the male output. So if I click OK, then if I connected this, then you can see the male output. So the male output is going into this direction. So just observe one clear observe here. I'm getting the data source and these are the columns I'm getting, and then I just drag and drop the conditional split transformation. So it's the name itself is explaining that this transformation is worked based on the conditions. So you can define the conditions, and so if based on the condition, you can define the route, which route you want to go and which destination you have to direct. So here I just double click, and this is basic expressions. You will learn one by one expression in the derived transformation, but anyway, you can start some basic conditions here as well. So I'm going to define the condition here, and let me expand this. Then you can see we have different options and different functions. So you can see we have a same like a T-SQL, date, diff, and even date part, and even year. And also you can do operators like plus, add, and I'm just using the equal. So what I'm just doing, I'm just drag this column, which is gender is equal to male. So in a T-SQL, basically we use a single quote when you define the text. Here you have to use a double quote, that's all. If I put the single quote, you can see how it shows. It is changed to the red color because it doesn't match the syntax. So to define the text in SSIS expression, you have to define double quote. So these expressions are very simple, and some of them are you can use it, some of them are you may not use. It depends on requirements and depends on your conditions. So even you can use this mathematical function, but it depends, as I mentioned, that if you need to use it and you may not use sometimes. So again, you can see the string as a text. We worked left and left trim length, the same like a T-SQL. So once you click onto this, you can see the syntax here. You had to define the expression and you had to define the number. So as we know, like we need to get the first 5 of the specific column. What you do, you just click onto the left, open and close parentheses, and you can drag the column comma 5. So it is the same like T-SQL, but you had to define in a condition here, and this is the output of the column, what column you need to define. So click OK. Then if I connect this to here, double click, then I have to define the new flat file connection. Then I'm going to select female and click OK, and here. Okay, so the conditional split default output. So if it is male, it is going into this route, and if basically by default it is going into this condition. So if you want to define this condition has another way, then what we can do, we can do the same condition, female output, and again I'm going to drag this gender and I'm going to select is equal to, excuse me, I'm going to drag this and female. So let's go back into the query. Actually this is M and F, so we will not get any output if we run like this, because the text itself, the data is stored only single letter M or F. So I'm going to change based on the input data. Okay, then click OK. And if I want to change this output, and just drag and drop, and you can see the output and female output. So now you can clearly define the two conditions here with the conditional split transformation. One is a male output and second one is a female output. So let's see the how many total number of rows, and let me copy the same query here. Again, we will just change it to F. So when you run this query, then you can see 9,351 rows, and this one is 9,133 rows. So if I run this package, it must have to match the row count. So let me rename this. Okay, and again we have to rename this package. Okay, let me run this. Now you can see the 9,133, it goes into this direction, and see the male output is 9,351 rows, so it is matched. Then to verify the data into the output, you have to go back into the Extra Guru lab, and so we can run this query again, same thing here. So I have to select connection, change, just observe, right click, connection, and change connection, and then if you have a different server, then you can define the new SQL Server instance. But currently we are working into the same database, SQL Lab, so the same server, and here I have to select a different database, which is extra guru DW lab. Then if I run this query here, I want to delete this database because it is pointed to AdventureWorks. So now if I run this query, the second result set should be 0 because it is F, and the first query we already got 9,351 rows. So the female output is automatically stored in a flat file destination.